Hey everyone, welcome back to Endless Money Pits. This is my 2000 BMW 328i, and today I'll be showing you how to do a basic oil change. I've had this car for about 13 years, and I don't really go easy on it. It has 262,000 miles now, and it's been about 10,000 miles since its last oil change. The engine still runs great, and I'd like to keep it that way, so during this oil change, I'm also going to be collecting a small sample of oil to send off to a lab for analysis. I'll be going over those results in a tantalizing upcoming video, so make sure to subscribe and you'll be notified when I upload it. Anyway, here are the tools that I used for this job. Breaker bar, torque wrench, socket wrench, 17mm socket, 36mm socket, small flathead screwdriver, permanent marker, funnel, floor jack and a set of jack stands, a creeper, and a fluid drain pan. For this job, I also needed at least 6.9 quarts of 5W30 full synthetic motor oil that meets BMW's long life oil standard, an oil filter, and a crush washer for the drain bolt. Before getting started, I'll take the car for a spin to get the oil warmed up so it drains out easier. A 5 to 10 minute drive should be enough. With that out of the way, the first thing I always do is remove the oil fill cap so the oil can drain out easier. Next, I'll place a doubled up plastic bag in front of the oil filter so I can remove it without making a mess. You'll need a breaker bar and a 36mm socket to unscrew the oil filter housing cap. Put the old oil filter aside for now. If you look down inside the oil filter housing, you'll see some dirty oil left behind. You really don't need to worry about it, but I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I like to get that last bit out with a vacuum fluid pump. I will be replacing it with fresh oil before installing the new filter. With the top side done for now, I'll raise the front of the car and set it on jack stands. As usual, I'm placing a second set of jack stands under the car for added safety. For the oil drain bolt, you'll need a breaker bar, 17mm socket, and possibly a regular socket wrench if the bolt doesn't come out easily. Make sure your fluid pan is in place before pulling the drain bolt out all the way. Here is the oil sample I'm going to send to the lab for analysis. And right about here is when oil started dripping on the floor, creating a huge puddle. I usually use that vacuum pump to suck all of the oil out through the dipstick tube, so this is the first time I've removed the magnetic drain plug since I installed it about 32,000 miles ago. There is a moderate amount of metal debris attached to it, but not more than I expected for being installed for this long. Get the bolt cleaned up, put a new crush washer on it, and it's ready to go. Then, if applicable, get back under the car and check out the huge mess you made.
Shoot.
With that out of the way, wipe off the area around the drain hole and reinstall the plug. If you're using a torque wrench, the drain plug should be tightened to 18.4 foot-pounds. Now we can drop the car back on the ground and finish the work topside. Some people claim that the filters made by this brand aren't very good, but these are the only filters that I've ever used in this car. Looking at my maintenance history, this will be the 19th oil filter I've put in this engine. Just another reason I'm interested to see what the lab analysis has to say. This filter comes with a new crush washer for the drain bolt and an O-ring for the oil filter housing cap. Grab that plastic bag and pull the old filter off of the housing cap. It will take some effort. Use the small flathead screwdriver to carefully remove the old rubber O-ring. Wipe off the old dirty oil and slip on the new rubber O-ring. Make sure it's seated all the way down past the threads, then coat it with some clean oil. Before installing the filter, I'm going to replace the oil that I vacuumed out of the housing. It looks like half a quart or less, but the oil in here will prime the system and get lubrication to the engine faster the next time it starts, so you should definitely replace it if you removed it earlier. The filter fits tightly onto the housing lid, so it can be a little tough to get on. It will pop into place when fully seated. Screw the cap back onto the oil filter housing and torque it to 18.4 foot-pounds. Insert your funnel and pour in some fresh oil. This car requires 6.9 quarts. I bought two 5-quart jugs, so I used a Sharpie to mark the amount of oil that should be left over. If you do it this way, keep checking the level. If you pour in too much oil, you'll have to find a way to take some out. Once the right amount of oil is in, go ahead and put the oil cap back on. Run the engine for a moment to get the oil flowing, then shut it off. Let's check the oil level to make sure we put in the right amount. To do this, pull the dipstick out and wipe off all the oil. If it seems stuck, give it a little twist to break it free. Put it back in all the way, then pull it out and look at how much oil is on the end of the dipstick. There should be oil coating the end of the dipstick right up to the second cutout, which is the full mark. If oil only comes up to the first cutout or lower, you should add at least 1 quart. If your oil level is somewhere between these two marks, that's okay, but you'll want to check it from time to time to make sure it doesn't get too low. Put the dipstick all the way back in and we're done with the oil change. Before ending this video, I thought I'd quickly show you how to reset the oil service reminder on the dash. It takes less than a minute. First, hold down the left button on the dash cluster and keep holding it while you turn the key to the first position. Keep holding the button until the word Reset appears on the dash. Release the button, then hold it down again until the word Reset starts flashing. Release the button again, then just tap it one time. Newer models will show the word End when they're done. Mine just shows the distance until the next service and goes back to the reset screen. Remove the key and we're done. That concludes this week's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, just keep throwing money at it. Please recycle your used automotive fluids. Shoot.